his style, like I said, it probably reminds him of several tracks in France. And he just knows how to get around these tracks, and he's very meticulous about where he goes, where he puts the bike, where he hops, where he skips, where he jumps. And then, you know, look at him. He's making fewer mistakes than anyone else on the track at the moment.
A lot of people theorizing that last week's track and this one kind of played a Musquin's strength, or maybe some of the sandier tracks were at Millville. Certainly, that's going to be good for Jeremy Martin. Redbud Martin was very fast there last year. Maybe that works better for him. So if you're Musquin, you got to try to maximize the point score today, especially since Martin is in the back with a bad start. Cincerillo, Hampshire come through second and third. Osborne
starting to spread out a little bit between the front few.
Yeah, and Martin, by the way, here, Alex Martin has passed Craig. Jeremy Martin should be about 2 positions further back.
Oh, we see Joey Savacci in the picture there. So another pretty solid ride from him. He's been riding very well this outdoor season. Sometimes not quite the starts, I'm sure, that he would like.
Marvin Musquin continuing to roll here on the Red Bull KTM. But Adam Cincerillo, who's gotten the second, has matched his lap times for the most part. It's a 5-second lead. Let's see as they come through this next time if Musquin can stretch it out. Looks a little bigger than 5 to me.
Well, Marvin was a 2 or 3 that last time. And Cincerillo also 2 or 3, basically mirroring each other's lap time. So maybe that's all Cincerillo. Ooh, you see that? Wow. I said this track is basically the 41st ride, if you want to call it, the 12th man. And as the day goes on, we're not even halfway through the very first moto of the day. They did do some smoothing out in some sections, I think for safety reasons. We saw Jeremy Martin almost have a catastrophic crash over that big jump when his wheels washed out from underneath him in practice. So some of these sections, there's a safety issue where they've eliminated some of these nasty chuck holes. But it's starting to break down again. You already see these guys looking for other line options. But with a clear track, Cincerillo is matching Musquin's pace. And, you know, Marvin might know that he's got a gap. He may have backed it off just a little bit because he knows how easy it is to make a mistake on this track.
And Hampshire still running strong in third. Again, career best for him is a 5th in our previous moto last week. So top 3 would be great for him. And these guys have been battling each other as they come through traffic. The 16 of Osborne here, the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna, and the Cycle Trader Rock River Yamaha of Alex Martin. And they're not too far behind Hampshire now.
You know what surprised me a little bit? We're used to seeing Jeremy Martin just dissect this field so quickly. Yeah. Usually by this point, he's 3rd or 4th. He's still sitting in 8th place. And I don't know if maybe he's just not quite feeling it, or it's just hard to get around these guys. They are riding a great pace. Georgia, what do you got for us?
Yes, well, Zach Osborne, the number 16 on the Husqvarna there, he's been staying at Eli Tomac's farm in Colorado for the past 2 months. Well, Eli Tomac, as we know, had those 2 shoulder injuries and won't be coming back for the rest of the season. However, this past week, John Tomac and Eli have both been helping out Zach on the track, pitboarding, giving times. And John Tomac is actually here this weekend just for Zach. And he said, I got to get this boy on the podium again. So he might have a good luck charm with him.
Wow, that's dedication. Papa Tomac at the races to help out Zach.
Well, if he comes all the way for you, you don't want to let him down either.
I wouldn't let that guy down. I'd be scared. Here is Jeremy Martin, as you mentioned. Okay, he has now caught Savacci, who is in 7th place, but yeah, not exactly plowing through the field.
Not Martin-esque type first moto.
The only thing is, I will say, remember the first 10-15 minutes last week, took him a while to get going. The fitness is really where Jeremy Martin hangs his hat, so we'll see if he can make up ground. But last week he was in about 4th place at this point. He's in 8th right now, so he's got twice as much work to do if he wants to even get in position for a podium, maybe an overall win later in the day. And these guys, as we teased at the top of the show, they don't like the fact that only 2 guys have won the races this year. Savacci, Craig, Osborne, they're all going to make it tough to make passes. They want to beat these riders.
They've been slowly chipping away.
Yes.
It's not those big gaps that those guys had. And at this point of the race, what time is it reach?
Oh, well, there is plenty of time for Jeremy Martin to make his move because there's still 15 minutes to go. In just 15 minutes, you can save 15% or more on your insurance by calling Geico. Short for a phone call, save money. But that's a lot of racing, 15 minutes, for Jeremy Martin to try to do some work and make up some points.
Jeremy Martin's looking for 15 seconds insurance in this race, so that put him right in the mix of it.
That's right. That's pretty much the gap.
He's 20 seconds off the lead.
And And 7 seconds now. Muscan has moved out a bit over Cincerillo, who's in second. Hampshire third. Osborne, Alex Martin fourth, fifth. Craig, Savacci, and Jeremy Martin. That's who you're watching right now. And last year, Muddy Creek and High Point, probably the two worst tracks for Jeremy. So we'll see how he does here this time. Georgia, what are you hearing on the number one?
I just was looking back to that interview I did on the grid walk with him, and I don't know if you guys heard it, but it did sound like he had a slight sore throat or a cough. He actually coughed and his throat was grumbly. I just kind of spoke to his mechanic, and he didn't want to say too much, but from what I understand from that interview, it did sound like potentially he could be a little bit sick.
He definitely didn't sound pumped. I can put it that way. Now, I was like, this guy's just really doing a good job of staying relaxed before the motos. Maybe too relaxed. There's Pedro, the mechanic, holding the signboard out, trying to get his guy going. 8th place, not where the champion expects to be. Now, he's got Savacci right in front of him. So he has a chance to make at least one pass. If he rallies here these 4 or 5 laps in a row, he could make some moves, but it's not going to be easy. Look at Savacci putting the bike right in front of it.
Well, none of these guys are going to make it easy on them either. They're tired of being beaten by these guys. And we keep saying it, but these young, talented kids are getting closer and closer. You know, they're going home and studying and watching the races back. Where can I find some time? What's he doing that I'm not doing? Where's he quicker? What's his strengths? What's his weaknesses? Let me work on his weaknesses. If he doesn't like pressure, let me harass him. You know, whatever it may be. You've got to know your competition to know how to go and attack them.
Now Savacci is going to be in a tough spot. He has caught Craig, but he has to deal with Martin behind him. So let's see how he plays it. If he can make a quick pass, he'd be in great shape. But if he's stuck back here a while, you do not want to have the number one all over you while you're trying to set someone in front of you up for a pass.
I think maybe Craig, I don't know if it's so much fitness as he could also just be riding a little tight. You know, sometimes on a track like this, when it's really rutted and the bike's all over the place, you just have a tendency to hold on a little tighter than normal, which creates arm pump. Those of you that ride know exactly what I'm talking about. If you're not a racer, it's when your arms, your forearms swell up, and you basically battle to pull in the clutch, use your front brake, and sometimes even just twist the throttle because your arms are so pumped up.
So this battle continues to rage. Craig, Savacci, and Martin. That's 6th, 7th, and 8th. Muscan, Cincerillo, and Hampshire leading it.
Feel the summer spirit.
Back to Martin, continuing to work. Behind him, by the way, is his teammate, Aaron Plessinger, and Nelson stuck in 10th this whole moto. All right, Martin going to try an inside line. Really rough down there. Can't do anything with it. Oh, Savacci feet off the pegs and manages to find a rut and get the Kawasaki back into it.
A lot of little mistakes from these guys purely because they're trying as hard as they can. Savacci can hear, and he knows, oh, that was beautiful from Martin. Perfect block pass, squared up the corner, put his bike in the way, took the line away. That's how you make a good, clean motocross pass.
So now Savacci will try to hang with Martin, who you know is going to try to go further forward than this. He's got Craig. Craig's a hard guy to read. You could look at him and say, well, the guy looks tired. He's just riding up on the pegs, but that's his riding style. He's so smooth that you can't often not tell how hard he's really going.
He's got long legs.
Yep.
And he has a beautiful riding style, especially for a tall guy. Love watching him ride.
Yep.
But I got a feeling Jeremy Martin won't be stuck behind him for too much longer. He's finding his groove. He's going forward. Unfortunately for Craig, he's slowly going backwards. So for Martin, he needs to get by quickly.
Yeah, because there's a pretty good gap between Craig, about 4 seconds to go further up. That will be Alex Martin, Jeremy's brother. And you know Jeremy understands the game. He's got to make up every point he can. Jeremy Martin has made one pass. He's gotten around Joey Savacci. That puts him in the 7th. Now he wants 6th. 68 Christian Craig is right in front of him, trying to use an outside line and a lap rider as a buffer. Side by side down Bradshaw Boulevard we go, and I think Martin might have him.
Smart move by Jeremy Martin. He's realizing these inside lines where everyone's gravitating to are getting deeper, which means they're getting slower, which means the longer way around becoming more even. He just carried a ton of momentum up that hill. He was committed. Before he got to that corner, I knew the pass was done because he was so committed, and that outside line is smoother. Carried so much momentum, and that's Jeremy Martin's forte. It's his corner speed and momentum. And as you can imagine, there are a lot of corners on the motocross track, so that's a good asset to have.
Hey, well, Jeremy rides under some of the tutelage of the greatest of all time, Ricky Carmichael. And what did Ricky always say? Jump for show, corner for dough. You make your money in the corners, and Martin is maybe the best in the business in the corners. And I feel like it's the same thing we saw last week. Suddenly we are now seeing the typical speed and style of Jeremy Martin. Took half of the moto to get this thing going. You can take us through some of these passes he made, and it's all about the corners.
Does a great job of it. Watch this here. He squares it up, goes to the outside, then quickly flicks it in, grabs the handle, just gets his bike in the way. That is a veteran move from a fairly young rider. Savachi had no answer to come back. And then this is after the last sweeping turn. He sealed the deal, getting to that finish line jump. Great couple passes in a row there for Martin. Now he's got a chance to get some clear track, ride his own lines, and set his sights on things.
Yeah, but look who he'd have to set his sights on.
His brother.
Yeah, his brother is the next rider in line. If we go back to our leader, Marvin Muscan, who has led pretty much every inch of this one and has really pulled away. He has 11 seconds over Cianciarulo now. Hampshire is third. Osborne fourth. Where did he find that line? Way off the side.
Hey, they put those stakes up to mark the edge of the track, and he'll make sure if he has to, he'll use every inch of it. He paid his entry fee. He's allowed to.
Okay.
You know, it's like when I go golfing. Trust me, I use every inch of that golf course.
Just looking for a bargain. I want my money's worth. So Muscan over that big tunnel jump doubles it. That was something that 15 years ago they thought was unheard of and impossible, and now they make it happen yearly at this track. Here's your motorsport.com whole shot replay. This is how Marvin got the early lead.
Well, he was near the inside, got to the first turn first, didn't run wide, knew to keep it tight, starts closing the door, sweeps through that turn, see him crossing the white line, and get that motorsport.com whole shot award.
An army of Geico Hondas behind him.
That they were like fanned out across the track, 3 wide.
And Hampshire's still hanging tough in third on his Geico Honda. He's the lead rider on that team after the good start. Osborne. Oh, I think Alex Martin has just gotten Osborne for fourth, so he's trying to run and hide from his brother. Whoop, rare mistake from Muscan. Yeah, here it is. Osborne has been passed by Martin, and now Alex Martin trying to get Hampshire for third. The Martin boys halfway through this one, both on the gas.
Yeah, oh, look at that. Alex! You can tell they ride together. Even their styles are looking blended. I have to see their number plates to know which one's which nowadays. They're similar size and stature. They look alike, and they're even riding a lot alike these days. And they say they ride together a lot. And you can tell for Alex Martin, he's just been a silent workhorse, and he just keeps creeping up the order. Now he's a guy we're going, hey, he's always basically a podium contender. And for his brother, I'm curious to see what's going to happen when it comes down to a last lap battle between the brothers. They might not be riding too much in the near future together. Oh. And a lapper hold up Hampshire.
Yeah.
So I think that just donated the pass
to Osborne. And Jeremy Martin, you think will be back here somewhere. Still has some ground to make up.
Oh, look at that. See the shroud missing. I wonder if it got ripped off or his mechanic's going to get ripped on afterwards for losing a shroud.
Nicely said. Alex Martin, by the way, was third in points after 2 rounds, and then has had 4 straight motos of terrible luck. Had mechanical troubles in 2 of them, and then back-to-back first turn crashes. Last week was down on the first turn in both motos, so he's basically come from last 4 motos in a row, and poor Alex went from third in the points to 12th at the moment, and he's third of the track ahead of this rider, Osborne. Osborne and Amart not strangers to each other. They used to ride together all the time down in South Carolina.
But when we looked at the points before the start of the race, you said he dropped all the way to 12th. One good motor, he could be back up to 5th. I mean, you could throw a blanket. There's about 10 points separating 10 riders. And it just shows you how much depth there is in this class. Each and every weekend, we see a little bit of chopping and changing. The only 2 things that have really stayed the same is Martin and Muscan up front. They've shared wins. They've shared the points lead at different times of the season. But behind them, I mean, it could be a Husky, it could be a Suzuki, it could be, you know, a Honda, another KTM from the Troy Lee team. I mean, it's anybody's guess.
But one other thing hasn't changed. We never see Jeremy Martin and Marvin Musquin start the race together.
No,
one of them dominates the moto. Yeah, the other one's in the back. And a lot of times it'll flip-flop between the first and second moto. It did this time.
It's going to happen soon, Weed. We're going to see it.
This is inevitable, right? But Musquin is gone in this one as Alex Martin, you see here in third on the blue. Cycle Trader Rock River Yamaha under fire from Osborne. There's some motivation there. That's your podium position. They both want that third place spot. First, how about this? 5 different brands represented in the top 5. Good call, GL. With Husqvarna starting to rise back again to prominence here. I don't know if we've ever had that situation.
It was just a cool little thing I saw in our time of scoring. KTM, Kawasaki, Yamaha, Husqvarna, Honda. Just need a Suzuki in there. We'll have the whole batch.
Only got one of them out on the track right now. One Suzuki. Here is Musquin up front of the Red Bull KTM. Leads 10 seconds. He is now managing it over Cincerillo.
Not even tripling up the hill, but once he gets to that inside rut. So sometimes you actually have to, get back to Ricky's point, jump for show, corner for dough. Sometimes you're better off not necessarily jumping these jumps if you can get to a part of the track that no one's been to.
Not as beat up down through there.
Yeah, and not to mention, those guys have been casing that jump. But by casing it, you'll see what I mean. Landing on top, like hitting it, which takes energy out. And by the end of the race, your wrists and ankles start hurting.
Here's Jeremy Martin all over Hampshire, who does not have that right side radiator shroud. Does that actually affect the riding, you think, with his catching his boot or his knee braces?
It could, because you got those the plastic covers that go over the radiator, so it could be affecting him. I'm not sure, on the Honda how their radiators are set up or whatever. But the good thing is, with the Geico insurance, they can get him a new side plate. And he'll be okay.
Done. Very good. Listen up, Motocross fans. We have something very special for you. Lucas Oil, MAV TV, and Kawasaki have teamed up to give you the opportunity to win something amazing. A brand new 2016 Kawasaki KX of your choice. Just text live NX to 313131 or visit facebook.com/LucasOil or facebook.com/MAVTV to enter. Just saw there that all new 2016 Kawasaki KX 450F. About 7.5 pounds lighter than the 2015 model. So if you're going to win that thing, pick the KX of your choice. That might be the right choice. Good choices by Jeremy Martin. He has made another pass. He's up to 5th around RJ Hampshire. You can take us through this, Grant Langston.
Well, just goes a long way around, squares him up here, carries the speed. Now that's going to set him up on the inside for the next corner. See that momentum. Some people might say the Yamaha is way faster than the Honda. But he went to the outside, just carried that speed down the hill to the inside. I always said it, put yourself in a position where the other guy has to go on the defense and you're on the offense, which is he got to the inside, put his bike in the way, and the guy on the outside has to surrender.
Oh, you can see Hampshire over that jump kind of looked over like, got me on that one. Yeah. Tough break for Hampshire, running 3rd for most of this moto, and has now been pushed back to 6th. Everyone else really starting to rally. And he lost that radiator shroud off the side of the bike. Not sure if that's affected the riding or not.
Well, we also saw the plastic cover flapping around, so if nothing else, it's at least distracting him.
Yep.
But these guys are professionals. They try and put it out of their head. You got to deal with what you got. Can't stop and get your radiator shroud put on.
No pit stops in this one.
Yeah.
Musquin headed down back into the valley and not too far away. So another uphill, back up top.
And also riding smart lines, just trying to stay out of the deep holes. We've seen him go to the very edge of the track where no one's going. So you can tell he's just managing it. He's basically trying to eliminate any possibility of making a mistake and throwing this away. Watch this line. I mean, no one's been there. And thank goodness he did, because there was somebody laying in the main line up the inside. And that's another thing with lappers. When you've got trick lines, a lot of times you can go where they're not going, which just makes getting through lap traffic just a little bit easier. Every now and then it backfires when a guy thinks, oh, I'll get out of the way and go to the edge of the track. And he had no idea that, someone like Musquin actually used that part of the track.
Well, it's almost an instant replay of our first moto last week from Muddy Creek. These rutted technical conditions with a little bit of rain here and there really seemed to work in Musquin's favor. He dominated the first moto last week. The problem was he threw it away with a crash in Moto 2 on the first lap, and that basically ruined any chance of winning the days overall. So see if he can keep it on two wheels, get a good start in the second moto, and do what he really wants, which is not just win motos, but score overall wins and score points over Jeremy Martin in this championship. He's got to back it up each time.
At the end of the day, he wants this title.
Yep.
See him staying out of the deep rut. So at this point, he's also probably looking for potential lines for the second moto. Hey, you know, if I didn't get the whole shot, I could go this wrong way around. I got this trick line. Look at this battle heating up.
Well, this is a battle actually. Osborne in lap traffic. Oh, it's Jeremy Martin has caught him. I thought Osborne here on the white 16 had caught Alex Martin, but instead he's under fire from Jeremy. This is for fourth and fifth. Alex Martin up ahead in third. Cincerillo is second. All right, Jeremy's going to find some of these outside lines again. Will they work? He's got a lap and a half to do it.
I must say, I've got to give a lot of credit to these track workers. This track was a bit of a muddy mess this morning. It looks primo right now. Traction, this traction in places that are great. Oh, look at Martin just rail those ruts. Just something beautiful to watch. Taking different lines as well, landing a little bit of a soft spot there, so he robbed a little momentum. Watch here. How much you want to bet he goes to the outside? He's already setting it up. He's going to scrub everything. Get on the power. Watch him scrub this. Scrub the next jump. And watch. He'll just rail this outside. Will he get it done?
Already got it. Unbelievable.
Smart kid. Very smart kid. That is just, you can't teach that sort of stuff. And once he realized, hey, that line works. That's the one beauty. Sometimes when you come to the pack, you find lines that you would probably never plan on taking. And then he goes, that is my spot. And I'm going to get really close, and I'm going to set it up. That was about a predictable pass as I've ever seen.
Well, yeah, you did predict it straight away in advance. Oh, Ryder down there.
Probably high-sided, lost the rear coming around that turn. A lot of these guys basically controlling the cornering with the rear wheel sliding around. Problem is, you hit a slick spot or catch a rut, it can go ugly quickly.
And we're back to Martin on Martin crime here. Alex Martin third. Jeremy, of course, wants that top three for the podium and the extra 2 points that would come with it. So Alex and Jeremy might battle down to the, well, might be the last turn, which is that turn that Jeremy was using to make passes. Could be interesting. Musquin has gone 9-second lead, just got it to about 11, and then maintained it over Cincerillo. And by the way, this, I believe, would be a career high moto finish for Cincerillo. Had a third a couple of years ago in his rookie season. So second, he says he wants to win one of these. But if you haven't gotten a second yet in your career, you got to start somewhere.
Well, he said maybe just a moto. So if he wins the second moto, guess what?
Ooh.
That gives you an overall as well, regardless of what anyone else does.
All right, so the number 50, the young kid in the Kawasaki, could be in the mix today. At least he's going to split your championship contenders. And Marvin Musquin, as I said, dominated the first moto last week just like this, was not able to do it again in the second moto. He was fast, just made a mistake on the first lap and crashed and had to come from about last. So he knows, as good as this moto has been, his work is only halfway done. But what a piece of work it was. Marvin Musquin wins Moto 1 here at High Point. No problem at all. See the gap between he and Cincerillo in just a moment. 5.5 seconds, and Martin almost got Martin, but he didn't. Alex is going to hold off his younger brother and finish third. This is not even a thing anymore, Alex Martin finishing in podium position. That's just where he belongs these days. Alex has really stepped up his game in the last 12 months. Good job for him. Good job for Cincerillo. But the best job of all, turned in by the Frenchman, Marvin Musquin. Got the moto victory.